As consumers in the luxury compact crossover market, you have a lot of choices to go with, whether it's the BMW X3, Mercedes-Benz GLC 300, Volvo XC60, Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Cadillac XT5, and there's probably a number of other candidates that I could be naming right now. But you probably notice that each vehicle has its own characteristics and personality, and that no two vehicles are alike. Now, last year I did feature the Audi Q5, but I didn't get to take it out for a test drive and fully experience it on that day. And that's why I am back to once again feature Audi's best-selling model. What Audi does with the Q5 is provide a good amount of interior comfort and really focus on technology and giving you a great package and value at a good price. And we're going to see if the Audi Q5 is one of the best vehicles you can buy in this market. About a month ago, I had taken a look at the 2022 BMW X3, which I still feel is the only vehicle in this market and price range that's going to give you an exhilarating driving experience, one in which you're going to be locked in behind the wheel at all times, and I still feel that vehicle, even though it is a bit outdated, is one of the best in this segment. But can the Audi Q5 change my mind by providing the intangibles that you're looking for, such as comfort, luxury, a great driving experience, and also a good amount of technology? So in this video, we're going to take a good long look at the 2022 Audi Q5, see how it compares to other vehicles in this segment, and also see why, if you're looking for a luxury compact crossover, then maybe going with the Audi Q5 might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Bernardi Audi of Natick in Natick, Massachusetts, for allowing me to do this review. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Audi inventory. Also, before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you're notified every time a new review goes live on the channel. And so, without wasting any further time, let's get right in this review. Luxury crossovers is a broad term in 2021, as each brand is going to offer different characteristics and styles when it comes to handling, performance, comfort features, and interior layout. On one hand, you have BMW giving a standard X3 heavier steering and good driver feedback compared to most rivals, and then on the other hand, you'll have Volvo emphasizing safety and a softer suspension with the XC60, as that has always been the MO for the Swedish manufacturer. The Audi Q5 is one of those crossovers that can be perceived as being a mixture of everything consumers desire in a vehicle of this size, as a modernized exterior design will draw attention immediately, but also you'll receive some of the best technology in this segment. Of course, performance is a hot topic, and Audi has you covered there with the SQ5. But if you're strictly looking for luxury, the Q5 we have today will likely be what you'll prefer at the end of the day. Starting off with pricing, the model in this review is a Premium Plus, which comes in with a starting price of $50,600. But it should be worth noting that this Q5 has additional packages that we'll discuss and go over throughout this video. Placed between the Q3 and Q7 in the lineup, this compact luxury crossover may be the perfect size for many, as it falls right in line with its closest rivals in terms of exterior dimensions. With the sleek body lines and rounder roofline, the Q5 is athletic in appearance. But if you want something a little more sporty, Audi now offers a Sportback, which will affect rear cargo space as a consequence. If you plan on doing some light off-roading, the Q5 will have just over 8 inches of ground clearance, which is pretty standard for vehicles in this segment. But most likely the Q5 won't be seeing any terrain that isn't pavement. For 2022, Audi made some slight tweaks to the exterior for the Q5, as the S-Line is now standard, removing the brushed aluminum accents that were present on the front grille for base models last year. Now you have more of a honeycomb design, which is becoming a staple for the cosmetic features of Audis in the lineup today, regardless of whether they're S or RS variants. This Q5 is equipped with the black optic package, adding gloss black trim not only up front, but also for the roof rails and side blades. This package also includes 20-inch 5-arm cutter design wheels in a bicolor finish for a slightly more aggressive look. By going with the Premium Plus, you will have full LED headlights, but to receive the Matrix design, you will have to upgrade to the Prestige. Body color folding side mirrors with turn signal indicators to go along with blind spot detection complete the front portion of the Q5. Then coming around to the back, one minor change from last year is the return of the exhaust outlets being integrated into the rear bumper, which now makes the Q5 look better from this angle. Gloss black accents once again make their presence known for the rear fascia, adding a classy color contrast, but also perfectly outlining the rear diffuser and being the connecting piece between the LED taillights, which normally would be chrome. While some Audi loyalists may not be the biggest fans of giving the Q5 sportier aesthetics, it is quite remarkable that for a minor facelift, this compact luxury crossover appears to be even more polished and refreshed than last year. For performance, the Q5 is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that puts out 261 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. According to Car and Driver, their 0 to 60 test resulted in a time of 5.5 seconds, putting the Q5 ahead of many competitors, despite being known as not being the most engaging crossover to drive in this segment. The softer and smoother handling characteristics may not turn on enthusiasts, but for the driver looking for comfort, the suspension and even lighter steering is going to be a perfect complement to their driving habits as they commute to work or go on a road trip. For the drivetrain, Audi's Quattro all-drive system does come standard, and for fuel efficiency, you're looking at right around 23 miles per gallon in the city and 28 miles per gallon on the highway. Stepping inside, you're greeted by power adjustable and heated leather seats for both the driver and passenger, with the driver's side being 2-position memory for added convenience. It's the cabin where the Q5 shines, as its user-friendly layout that's matched with the high-resolution technology found on the dashboard is where Audi may outclass some rivals. While Mercedes-Benz and BMW are known to offer similar tech, it's how Audi presents a digital gauge cluster and infotainment system where you may find yourself being drawn into the interiors found throughout the lineup. In front of you is Audi's virtual cockpit, allowing you to customize this display to showcase relevant information, or have the navigation system shown so you don't have to look over the user interface. As always, quality is arguably unrivaled, and even better, you don't have to pay for a fully loaded Prestige to receive the features you desire. However, the Premium Plus does not offer a head-up display with traffic sign recognition, but that's a minor sacrifice by opting for a more affordable trim. Then moving over to the infotainment system, coming standard is a 10.1-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, and with the navigation package, you will have onboard navigation. Our model is also equipped with the $950 19-speaker Bang & Olufsen surround sound system to amplify the audio of your favorite music. As we discussed each time we've reviewed Audis, the latest MMI user interface is easy to get accustomed to, despite the lack of quick access buttons or a rotary dial to provide dual functionality. By being within arm's reach, you can scroll and select the menu you want to see without taking your focus off the road. And overall, when it comes to responsiveness, you're going to have a hard time finding better. Helping you park the Q5, you have a variety of camera angles to choose from to ensure you don't hit any stationary objects or curb your wheels when parallel parking. Below, you'll have Audi's signature button layout, with the dials for your dual-zone climate control and buttons for the 3-level heated seats, AC, and front and rear defrosters. And beneath that, you'll have another row of buttons for hill descent control, traction control, auto start-stop, and drive mode selector. Then for the center console, wood grain trim adds a classy vibe up front, and it's here where your volume and tuning knob will be placed. For the center storage compartment, there's plenty of room for smaller items. And rounding out the front seating area, above will be a power moonroof to let in a lot of natural light to the interior. Now for passengers in the back, we're going to start off on the passenger side, and the seat is adjusted further back. It's also on a recline, and I still have a few inches of legroom to work with here. Now, this seat would be probably suitable to someone around the height of 6 feet tall and above, and it's great to see that me at 5'5", I'm still pretty comfortable back here. And in fact, the Q5 is one of the more spacious crossovers in this segment. Also, one thing to note here is that we do have a panoramic moonroof, but it doesn't take away from the headroom. And despite the fact that from the exterior, the Q5 looks like it has more of a sportier roofline, you don't really lose anything. There's a lot of room to work with here in the Q5. Now moving to the center seat, you are going to have some good placements for your feet. However, the center hump is extremely aggressive, which is going to take away from legroom and shoulder room. Now, for most vehicles in this segment, it's really just suitable for 2 people in the back, and the Q5 is one of them. However, I do think that on a shorter drive, you could fit 3 small kids back here, and it shouldn't be that big of a problem. I do think, though, that for taller passengers or average-sized adults, it would become a bit of a squeeze. Now, on the driver's side, this seat is adjusted to someone around my height of 5'5", and I have plenty of legroom to work with here. So what Audi has done with the Q5 is prioritize interior room for passengers. And we're going to find out if we do sacrifice a bit when it comes to rear cargo space. But back here, though, I think people of all sizes and shapes should be comfortable on a daily basis and on longer drives. Also back here, you will have 2 rear air vents. We also have climate control back here. Now there is empty spaces for your 3-level heated outboard seats. It's not available on this model. We also have 2 USB inputs, a 12-volt outlet, and rounding out the rear seating area, you do get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Now coming around to the back, you're going to receive a power lift gate. And inside, behind the second row seats, you're looking at right around 25.8 cubic feet of rear cargo space. Now that will get outclassed by the BMW X3, but that's more spacious than the Mercedes-Benz GLC and Alfa Romeo Stelvio. Now you have plenty of room back here for any type of items, whether it's camera gear, whether it's groceries, or even bags of luggage if you are going on a road trip with the family. I do think you'll be able to stack up quite a bit back here, probably 3 to 4, if not more bags of luggage. So this vehicle is certainly practical, and that's one thing I do like about the Q5 is that it's a lot more practical than the Stelvio, and it's certainly in line with its closest rivals. Now then, with the second row seats folded, you're looking at right around 54 cubic feet of room. And once again, that will get outclassed by the BMW X3, but that's pretty much average and on par with most vehicles in this market. Then on either side of the rear cargo area, you will have some netting for some smaller items, such as car detail equipment or possibly a first aid kit. And then not present on this particular model, but I'm assuming that's in this box back here, is your rear cargo cover, which will keep all your valuable items out of sight. So if you are like me and you have camera gear with you or anything of value, you can leave them back here and have that peace of mind knowing that no one will be able to peek in and steal what you have. Then beneath the floor mat, you will find your spare tire. So if you do encounter a flat on your road trips or travels, you can fix that and be back on the road. Another thing to point out here as well is that you will have quick release tabs on either side of the rear cargo area, and by tugging on them, the second row seats will conveniently lower to make it very easy to stack up more items if you are going on that longer road trip. And then once you're done, just press the button and the lift gate will close automatically. So now behind the wheel of the Audi Q5, let's get a good idea of how this vehicle performs and how it compares to a BMW X3 or Alfa Romeo Stelvio. Now, of course, the Q5 is not known for its performance. This is a luxury crossover. Of course, if you want to have that exhilarating driving experience, you're going to want to go with the SQ5. The thing with the Q5 here is that you're looking at a 0 to 60 time of around 5.7 seconds, which actually sits higher up on the list of luxury crossovers in this segment. It's a bit quicker than the BMW X3, but everyone is quick to point out that when it comes to steering and handling, the Q5 isn't as dynamic, it isn't as engaging or as agile. However, Audi does a great job of differentiating their non-S and RS models and making them more luxurious, so that if you are looking for more of that laid-back driving experience, that you're going to want to go with the Q5 rather than the SQ5. But everyone says, oh, it's not as quick, it's not as engaging to drive compared to, say, an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, or even people are throwing out the Porsche Macan. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to be spending around $60,000 for a crossover and you're looking at a Porsche, you'd have to go with the S, and then you're looking at spending around $65,000. Whereas this Q5 is right around $55,000, $56,000, and you're saving money, but also, of course, you're getting that luxury, which is more important. Where the Q5 really stands out, though, in terms of its driving dynamics, is the fact that it's more daily drivable than, say, a BMW X3, which has known to really have a thick steering wheel with aggressive 10-2 positions if you opt for the M Sport package. Whereas this is a bit more suitable for the driver who's not looking to get thrown back in your seat. You're looking for smoothness, you're looking for softness of the suspension, and also that comfort aspect that maybe a bit more of an aggressive vehicle is not going to have, like an Alfa Romeo Stelvio. What buyers are really going to love about the Q5, and it really adds into the luxurious aspect, is the 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, which pairs up very well with this turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. And compared to, say, a Mercedes-Benz GLC, this transmission is far and away better. And I think that's one of the biggest issues I have with Mercedes-Benz products, especially on the consumer level and not really have that sports car driving dynamics, is the fact that their transmissions just aren't that good. They don't pair very well. When you do put it in sport mode, the GLC just feels really sluggish, whereas in dynamic mode with this 7-speed dual clutch, it just feels nice and balanced, and I think refined as well. Now, when you're looking at competitors in this price range, you're probably thinking the Mercedes-Benz GLC, Genesis GV70, and Volvo XC60. And what I'm going to say here is that most likely you are going to come back to the Q5, because the interior layout, in my mind, is far more intuitive than what you're going to find in a Volvo XC60. Also, I think you're going to like the technology as well. But also, when it comes to driving dynamics, it's not going to lull you to sleep like you're going to have with the Volvo XC60. Now, I have not driven a 4-cylinder GV70. However, when it comes to the interior quality, I think the Q5 is going to eke out the Genesis GV70. And then compared to the Mercedes-Benz GLC, it still comes down to the transmission, though. I think Mercedes-Benz could give the Audi Q5 a run for its money when it comes to technology. But when it comes to the driving dynamics, I actually am finding myself having a lot more fun behind the wheel of this crossover than the GLC 300 that I reviewed earlier this year. However, you certainly feel the softness of the suspension on this winding back road, so I feel the body roll. It's not something you're going to be throwing around in corners and really having a engaging driving experience if you are going to be on winding back roads or up in the mountains somewhere. But this is really meant for that family-friendly driving, where you're going to be taking your kids to school Monday through Friday, or maybe you're commuting to work. This is the vehicle you're going to want to do it in. It has that nice composed nature to it where you're not going to really be on the edge of your seat the entire time as you're driving, but also you're not going to get bored of this car either. I also think too that when it comes to the exterior design, it actually looks pretty nice, especially now for the 2022 model where the S-Line does come standard. So you get rid of the chrome accents or the brushed aluminum accents, and they have more of a dynamic look. When it comes to the seating, though, they're not aggressively bolstered, but they do keep you in place. They are pretty comfortable, and on a longer drive, I don't think I get tired of it being behind the wheel of this vehicle. When it comes to ride height for the Q5, you do sit pretty high up in this vehicle, so you have a nice commanding feel as you're behind the wheel. Also, when it comes to what's in front of you, the hood does slant a little bit downwards, so you can see everything that's right in front of you, and it just gives you a lot of that safety that you're looking for with a crossover. Also, when it comes to the interior layout, what I really enjoy about the Q5 and other vehicles built in the MLB platform for Audi and also the Volkswagen family in general, such as the Porsche Macan, is the fact that you have a nice wide center console. And it gives you this cockpit feel while you're behind the wheel. Now, if you were to cross-shop this with, say, an Audi Q3, because I think you could do that. If you do have a budget around $55,000, you could make that upgrade. And with the Q5, you're going to have that center console where you feel a bit more secure, where you feel as though the dashboard and the interior wraps around you. And vehicles built on the MQB platform, such as the Q3, are not going to give you that. You're not going to have that center console where you feel like the vehicle is higher quality in terms of luxuriousness. So when we're talking about a vehicle priced around, $50,000, $60,000, the Q5 has that feeling to it. And if you're looking for that luxurious aspect, the Q5 is certainly going to give you that. What's really standing out to me after driving this vehicle around for about 20 minutes is just how quiet the cabin is. And in conjunction with just how smooth this vehicle drives. This is one of the smoothest crossovers in this segment that I have driven. Now, of course, I have not driven the 4-cylinder GV70, and the GV70 does prioritize luxury more than anything else, especially with the 4-cylinder. But compared to the BMW X3 and compared to the Mercedes-Benz GLC 300, this is certainly a standout for sure. You honestly feel like you're in a cocoon, and you just feel really safe and secure behind the wheel. And if you are commuting long distances during the week, this is just, to me, a great daily driver. More importantly though, if you are looking for a luxury crossover, one that's not going to give you tight and heavy steering or aggressive gear shifts, and you're just looking for a more relaxed driving environment, then the Q5 is certainly going to be up there and should be up there on your list of considerations. As I said, its closest competitors are going to be the Volvo XC60 and also the Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 in that regard. Obviously, if you're looking at an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, BMW X3, or even a Porsche Macan, because for some reason people do like putting that in the conversation, then the SQ5 is going to be probably the vehicle you're going to want to look at, because you're going to have the performance, you're going to have the handling, you're going to have the stiffer suspension. And to me, I feel like the Q5 differentiates itself where if you're that type of buyer that's just looking for comfort, you're just looking for quality and quietness behind the wheel, you don't want to hear the sound of the engine and the exhaust note, then the Q5 is going to be that option. You're not going to be looking at an SQ5. And that's what I like about Audi, is that they certainly do a great job with their lineup, where you feel like they have a vehicle for everyone. So you want to have that aggressive performance, you want to have that aggressive steering and then tight suspension, you go with the SQ5. You want to have something a little more softer, you go with the Q5. It just feels like Audi does a great job with their line compared to BMW, although I think BMW owners and buyers are a different breed. They want to have that tighter steering. They want to have that aggressive driving dynamics because, of course, it's the ultimate driving machine. But Audi, though, they really give you a nice cabin and cockpit where you have, in my opinion, better technology, but also, I think, a better driving environment if you're just looking for a daily driver. So in closing, what are my final thoughts for the 2022 Audi Q5? Where does this fit in its market? And what I'm going to say here is that the Audi Q5 doesn't do one thing great, but does a lot of the intangibles that you're looking for a vehicle at around $55,000 to $60,000. And what I'm talking about here is ride comfort and quality. This vehicle is so smooth on back roads, even on the highway, and when it's paired with that 7-speed dual-clutch automatic, it feels far more refined than the Mercedes-Benz GLC 300. Now, of course, when it comes to handling, you are going to feel the body roll. It's not going to have a weighted steering compared to, say, a BMW X3. But if you're strictly looking for luxury and smoothness, the Q5 is certainly going to be the vehicle you're going to want to go with. But then when it comes to interior quality and comfort, it just matches up the driving dynamics, where you have comfortable seats. Also, love the interior layout as well. Very easy to use, but traditional to Audi. And of course, I love the wide center console. But then also you have the technology to work with as well, which I still think is one of the best in its segment. Even though you have similar technology, which you're going to find in, say, a Mercedes-Benz GLC, I do like having Audi's virtual cockpit and the latest MMI user interface. It just really makes it very easy to scroll through different menus, and not a lot of brands offer an intuitive infotainment system. Now, you can't compare this to a BMW, such as the BMW BMW iDrive 7 system. And of course, you will have a rotary dial and touchpad with that. But considering what you had to work with inside the Q5 and just having this touchscreen, I think it works pretty well. But I just think that when it comes to the overall value that you have here to work with the Q5, especially at around $54,000, $55,000 for a Premium Plus, you are receiving a great vehicle, one that really can go up against the Volvo XC60, Genesis GV70, the BMW X3, and Mercedes-Benz GLC 300. But I just think that if you're looking for a straight-on luxury vehicle that's not going to give you any hint of performance in terms of driving dynamics and handling and having a stiffer suspension, and you're looking for a vehicle that is pretty quick in a straight line considering, and is still going to give you that softness of the suspension where you can go over bumps and not get thrown around, then I think the Q5, at the end of the day, should at least be at the top of your list of considerations if you are looking at buying a luxury compact crossover. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Boston Autoblog so you can see what I'm up to and what vehicles I'll be featuring in the future. And I will see you guys next time.